Thank you for joining JMO, Just My Opinion, hosted by your dude, Sincere Brown, with my beautiful co-host, Chicago's own, Ms. Robin McDonald. Today's episode is called Living Legends. We're here to give them their flowers while they're living. We're talking about people who've done great and amazing things in Charleston, South Carolina. My guest today is DARRELL Singleton. My other guest is ADRIAN McNEIL. A lot of people know him as Angie. And my third guest is, we got NATALIE SEELS, one of the best basketball players ever came out of the state of South Carolina. Give them all a round of applause. We're starting with Nat. Nat, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. How you doing?
All right, Nat. Tell these people about you.
Well, first, I want to say Happy New Year to everyone that's hearing my voice for the first time in 2024. I want to give God all the praise and honor. And I want to thank you, San Juan and Robin, JMO, for giving me the pleasure to be a part of this wonderful podcast. My name is NATALIE SEELS Ahadi. Ahadi is my married name. So please allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Nat. And to the AT, shout out to my man Hole for that line right there. So I was born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina. I had a single mother. I also have a brother that's 2 years older than myself, but he was raised by my grandparents over in Mount Pleasant. So I am currently 52 years old. I'm a part of the LGBTQ community. My pronouns are she and her. You know, you got to be politically correct these days. I attended Wilmot J. Frazier Elementary School, known to some people as Columbus Street School. That was on the east side. I then went on to Cathedral Catholic School, where I first started playing basketball. I then went on to the mighty Burke High School, class of 1990. Shout out to class of 1990. Went on from there to a full scholarship at the College of Charleston. Graduated in 1995, where I was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And that's about the roundup of my life.
Thank you, Nat. Thank you, Nat. DARRELL,
Yes.
COBRA, Singleton. Tell these people about you.
My name is DARRELL Singleton. I grew up in the city of Charleston, born and raised on the east side of town. Migrated to the west side, which we call Mary Ellen Drive. Give big shouts out to the drive because it's no longer here. But we still fellowship. You will never forget where you came from. So we still do our fellowship from that part of this town. I started grade school at I started grade school at Mitchell Elementary. Then I migrated to James Simmons Middle. Then I went to Rivers Middle School, which we call the Bears. And I graduated from Burke, class of 91. I fellowship with my brother Adrian all these years in amateur boxing. We came up and did some of the similar things, law enforcement, fire department, and we became real close at an early age, and we did most of the things that we did were similar. We're still hosting jobs like ILA, which we're longshoremen, international longshoremen. So, nevertheless, to say we had a very extensive career in amateur boxing, captured a lot of amateur titles, which we consider the Golden Gloves champion, Junior Olympics, Silver Gloves, U.S. Championship, and the Silver Gloves, U.S. Championship, Junior Olympics, can't forget the Junior Olympics, and most important, I ventured off at Madison Square Garden at the age of 20. I captured a lot of history there because I was the first black fighter from Charleston to become a Madison Square Garden boxer. So when I captured that mantle, it made me a legend in this town because I'm the first black fighter to become a Madison Square Garden boxer, and I'm gonna say I might be the last. So when you go to Madison Square Garden and the archives, you have a lot of boxers from the beginning to the end. And when you get there, what makes it so capturable is that Madison Square Garden stopped promoting boxing, but they still fight in the Paramount. So what that did for me is I captured the first history and the last. I signed the contract back in '91 with Madison Square Garden, and what happened was they phased out boxing from the industry. So now, if you go back in history, if you go visit the garden, you'll see I'm the last piece of history that was captured. So that's about it.
All right, Angie, tell these people about you.
Well, my name is ADRIAN McNEIL. I grew up in the city of Charleston on Bayside Manor many years ago. Like COBRA just said, I don't want to be redundant on some of the things that he said. We came up in the boxing history together. We experienced a lot in that boxing world. We've been on international teams. We were on the team with Vernon Forrest, which he got killed some years ago. We've been Two Shot Mark Johnson out of Detroit. You got Bones Adams, who I fought in the amateurs, and he was a world champion. Also, Paul Williams, I fought him. He was a world champion. So we have history with some of the guys that made championship in the world of boxing. Al Hollywood Meggett was our trainer. He's an excellent trainer. He went on to glory to be with the Lord some years ago. But this being said, we appreciate you having us here to give the history on the things that we achieved in our lives. Like you said, we came up in the international longshoreman. We both worked in that arena together. I consider it as an arena because we talking about the boxing history. So I using that term as an arena. That's another level for us. We didn't make world championship as boxers, but we doing world championship things in this town. So we want to educate young men and women as well to be a part of what we do because they are a part of this particular outfit. So we're glad to be here today to share some of our experience. Like I said, I grew up in the Bayside Manor. I went to North Charleston High for graduation. I started at Burke High School, just like you mentioned something to me earlier. You laughed about it, that my name came out more when we had a situation with a guy. I don't know how I want to put it, but we
I'm going to put it like this.
Beat down.
I'm going to put it like this. There was a time in high school, me and Adrian McNEIL was walking home from school. There was a guy tried to be a bully with Adrian McNEIL. All I can tell you is, when the situation was over, the vice principal came out and asked the guy who ganged him. It was a real bad situation.
Yeah. So, I'm appreciative of, the things that I went through. I could have been dead. I could have been in jail. The boxing world changed my life around. I actually got involved in the ministry, Household of Faith on the corner, King and Ray's. Pastor Reuben Wright was the pastor. Taught me many things and a lot of things that kept me alive, kept me out of trouble. It taught me a spiritual insight of things as well. So I'm appreciative to that. Going forward now, we looking to do things in our city. Far as actually with the boxing, we have Darren Whitaker. He's actually the trainer now. He was under Al Hollywood Meggett. So, we're going to support him as much as we can. I stop by the gym as much as I can. So we want to continue this legacy to make sure that young people can further their lives in the boxing world if they're interested.
Wonderful. So Natalie, tell us what started you wanting to play basketball or just the sport in general?
Well, starting out, I was always the tallest girl in class. And so people would say to me, you should play basketball. I would get that all the time. And then as a young girl growing up on the east side, we would always go on Mall Park to play. And Mall Park was infamous for just the crowds gathering around and watching the guys play ball. And then you would hear the crowd go, ooh and ah, when someone would dunk or make a good pass or just shoot a three. And I was so intrigued by it. I started playing. I started to love the game, just watching it. And I wanted to go out there and emulate what the guys were doing. So that's what basically got me started, just going to the park and watching the guys play, and people telling me because of my height I should be out there. And I tried it. I loved it. And it just grew from there.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Fellas. Cobra, what made you first decide to put on a pair of boxing gloves?
I'm saying when we go back to Hester Park, the recreation of football, I used to always get into things, fighting the guys on the field. So my coach said, Mike said, man, Cobra, you need to do something like wrestling or boxing. I said, you know what? I might just do that. So one day I went up to Hollywood's gym with a friend. His name is Red. He's deceased now. Red Brown. And Hollywood ran me from the gym. He's like, you don't want this? I said, yeah, I do. I want to be a boxer. And I guess it was maybe a year later. I was at the age of 13. I went back to the gym. And he saw that. He said, this kid might be serious. So he gave me a shot. And from that point on, I captivated a very successful career as an amateur and professional boxer. It was short, and I'm sorry to say, due to a car accident, it kind of dampened my career.
How about you, Angie? What got you putting them boxing gloves on?
Well, what really got me interested, I grew up on, like I say, on Bayside Manor, always getting in something, staying in something, never got out of trouble. My mom used to send me to Georgia Green at my aunt house back in the days when, when I get into stuff. So one day it was a guy named Micey. He was one of Hollywood proteges, and he was, hey man, I heard the guys be talking with your name a lot, so I heard you're a pretty decent guy off the hand. So I said, well, I do what I do. And he brought me to the gym. When he brought me to the gym, Hollywood actually tried me right away with one of his guys in the ring, and I knocked the guy down the first time I was in the gym, and that's when he said, I got something here. So I continue to get involved. My mom was introduced to Hollywood, and we got involved in the program. Like Cobra said, the program lifted off for myself. It kept me out of a lot of trouble, saved my life, and this is where I'm at today. So the boxing program was very, very interesting program that kept me off the streets and getting in trouble. I could have been in jail or dead, like I said before. So that's one of the things. This guy Micey, I appreciate him up to this day, what he's done, and like I said, boxing paid a good price for me in my life so far.
If you had to name just one person who was like your biggest mentor or motivator, who would it be and why?
I would say my biggest mentor would be Sugar Ray Robinson.
Okay.
Because Sugar Ray Robinson was quick, fast, and deadly, and he could knock you out with the left or right,
Right.
So I followed him as a kid. And I liked his style, and that's how I got the name Cobra. My trainer named me Cobra because I emulated what he was doing, because he was just so deadly with either hand, and that really made me set my plateau,
How about you?
Well, I always emulate Sugar Ray Leonard. When I went in the Nationals back in 1984, I won the Nationals. I had 4 bouts back to back. I actually met Sugar Ray in the lobby, and we took a picture, and you know, that was the man with the plan, and I emulate him. I like the speed, I like the skills, I like the finesse. Also, you know, Mayweather came behind him, but those are the two guys that I like, far as in the boxing world in that particular division. But Sugar Ray Leonard was the man.
Okay, okay. How about you, Nat?
For me, back then, it was Cheryl Miller. Everybody knew about Reggie, but oh, did he have a sister named Cheryl?
Right.
And Cheryl was everything to me. I wanted to be like her. I wanted to play like her. And I know you asked for one mentor, but I also have to give a shout out to players like Katrina McLean and Dawn Staley. These are girls who were Hall of Famers themselves and Olympic players. And when I saw them, I knew that that's what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be like. You know, my mom pushed me, all of my coaches, Miss T from the gym, Marshita Freer, RIP. Everybody know her as Miss T.
Yes.
But just her letting me come in the gym and play ball, I have to give a shout out to all of them because they all had a part of it.
Okay, wonderful.
Like I told many who would listen, Nat, you was probably one of the best basketball players I've ever seen, male or female. You dominated
Thank
the
you.
game the whole time I was in school. And like I told people all the time, Cobra, Adrian, and Tony Walker are the only three boxers I've ever seen in my life that I believe that them in their prime and Floyd Mayweather was in his prime, they were the only three that could give them their loss. Period. These guys were great, always have been great. Nat, you always been great in your sport. My question is, if you were in your prime right now, what do you think, all three of you, starting with Angie, what do you think that you can do to impact your sport more today?
Well, in my prime right now, I'm 51 years old, so I'm very in condition. I still run every day. What would I do to better it? I mean, you know, you got to change the way you eat, the way you socialize, things of that nature would help you prolong, make that better for you going forward. Because, like I said, you're at a certain age now, so boxing is like a downfall right now. At my age, you don't have most fighters still in the game. So, you know, there's just something keeping in condition and watching the way you eat and exercising and stuff of that nature.
Cobra, what you think? If you was in your prime right now, who would you beat the brakes off right now?
I think I'd say Tor Gotti. You know what I'm saying? Floyd Mayweather.
Like I said.
Shane Mosley.
Like I said.
Shane Mosley.
Shane and Floyd.
It was crazy, you know. To give an example of what happened in the past, me and Shane Mosley were on the same USA team, and we sparred. You know what I'm saying? And they had him up ahead of me, like, you know, he was gonna be the man, but I brought him down. So you know, it's like So when I made a team in 1988, I got the first pick. You know what I'm saying? And he was second. But of course, different things happen in history that, you know, I was supposed to be in the Olympics in 1988, but they moved the age up to 17. I was only 16 and kicked me out of the games. So these guys on the West Coast had a little more than we had on the East Coast, you know, because they had so many different tournaments that they compete in to give them gains to have more access to be in the Olympics or different national tournaments. So, you know, when I look back at that, of course I would say Shane Mosley, Floyd Mayweather, and I can't forget my main man, Vernon Forrest, because we bam at the old Long Sherman Hall. This is back in 1980...
86.
86, 89, something like that. And man, let me tell you something. We had people on their feet, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, you go back to look at, you know, there were many great champions, you know, Vernon Forrest, Sugar Shane Mosley, Floyd Mayweather, Tor, Gotti, and we fought. I fought all these guys, you know. So to go back to the history, it would be that, and also to say this at this time in my life, reflecting back then, it would definitely be social life. You would want to limit your social life to be at a level that you don't compel yourself to lose out on anything. Because if you don't, you get caught up, you know, and take you away from the sport.
Nat, tell the
Yeah.
world, if you had the WNBA when you was there, who would you be dunking on right now, Nat?
Listen, I would definitely want to be out there on the court in WNBA with like Aja Wilson and Brittany Griner and Candace Parker and just all those girls that are making a path for the young girls to come up.
Okay.
You have to work hard. You have to have discipline, strong work ethic, and it'll pay off. Do what you got to do what you need to do.
Okay.
Work hard.
Good point. So if you
The game ain't the same these days. These girls are here wearing lashes and nails and man, it ain't about that. We was diving on that court for that ball, man.
Tell them, Nat.
I don't
Tell
know.
them, Nat.
But do you think they
It
still
ain't
play
about the
just as
long
well?
hair and the weave down to the butt. And I mean, I don't understand. They out there for the wrong reasons. It's not a fashion show.
Do you think that
We used to
affects
be out
their
there
play?
sweating, blood, sweat, and tears.
Natalie, do you think
Would you say,
that
Robin?
affected the way that they play? With the nails and the hair and stuff, do you think they maybe
It's
don't put more into it, or?
it's a little too cute for me. Like, I'm not saying you can't be a lady at the same time.
Right.
However, we weren't concerned about nails and hair. We was grinding. Now off the court, it's fine, it's acceptable. But when you out there on that court playing ball, man, nobody don't care about hair and nails and lashes. We was grinding.
Did that affect you guys, like in boxing? Did you have to do like a certain persona? You think you had to look a certain way in order to be more successful?
No, you got to come as you are, pretty much, and then do your thing. You come out there ready, mind ready, body ready, and in condition. That's the big thing for boxing. You always had to be in condition.
Okay. Out of all of the things you guys did and all of the training that you received, like what would you say is the main thing you took from all of it? What was your biggest experience? What just makes you know you'll never forget this time? What was that moment like?
I would say, coming up in the world of boxing, we had so many different adversaries that was out there that we didn't want to be exposed to, Coming into Al Hollywood Maggot, he had us grounded. He gave us, which my father wasn't in my life like he was supposed to have been, but he gave us that father figure, coach. He invited us to his home, opened up everything to us, and it's something that we will never forget as kids, And I wouldn't change it for nothing in the world,
What about you?
I mean, also, like he said the same thing. Up to this day, Al Holly Megan has passed away within the last 2 years, I think, or 3. And up to this day, I go see his wife. I communicate with her. I make sure she's all right if she needs anything. He actually embraced us as young men, taught us how to be men, and for this time. So that's very important because I didn't have a father figure in my life. My mom was everything. She was rough. I remember my mom knocked me in my mouth one time because I didn't do something she told me to do. But guess what? That straightened me out. That kept me from doing other things that I knew that wasn't right. That street light came on. Guess what? I was home. Them fellas can crack joke all they want. I was home. So those are some of the sentiment things that I appreciate going forward.
Okay, wonderful. Natalie, how about you?
Same thing for me. I would have to piggyback off of what he said. I too was raised by a single parent. My mom was everything. She was my biggest fan, my number one fan. She was at all of my games, sitting in that same seat, and it taught me discipline. It taught me work ethic, a strong work ethic, and to work hard in school and on the court. So she didn't play in the classroom. That came first. I had to make A's, academics, and then athletics. That was very important. So it taught me that. It taught me to get my schoolwork, be a great athlete, and how important it is to help others. Whether you just helping somebody to their car with groceries, like things are so different nowadays. But people don't have the Southern hospitality that we had back in the day. Like we used to say good evening to our elders and help somebody cross the street, help them carry their grocery bags. But that's still instilled in me. I'm still willing to help people because that's how I was brought up. So it definitely taught me discipline and strong work ethic.
That's wonderful. Okay.
Hey, so all right, Cobra, how has your training and experiences affected your personal life with marriage or with friendships? With the training you have, how has it affected that?
Well, to a degree, it's like, you can't have a sex life, you know what I'm saying, because you're an athlete. So I was grounded, and when I was dating my girlfriend at the time, she knew that I couldn't have sex, so she would, be behind me with that. Today, somebody might, a boxer might slip it in, and all you can do is take away from yourself, you know what I'm saying? You got to be strong when you're in that ring. And your inner endurance is everything. So today, if I look at it now, I would, just stay grounded like I always was, just being grounded, You have a certain type of discipline you have to maintain, and you can't cross those lines. Because if you do, it's going to tell on you, you know what I'm saying? So for the most part, your social life could be your downfall. You got to be grounded with what you got working with, which is your team. We have a team when we're boxing. Everybody, we work together, make sure one another's lifted and elevated. If you need help in a certain area, we're gonna make sure that you get that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole lot, aspect of it, but maintaining the social life, I would say.
How about you, A.G.? How's your training experiences affected your personal life?
Well, I actually, it didn't really affect me as much, but there are times that I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and you got to be disciplined in the sport. Like he said, there are times when you have to abstain from sex. There are times I did it before the fight and still won, but it was in that will I had to win. So sometimes it depends on who you're fighting. All of these things play a part. You don't know who you're gonna ever fight. And growing up in the amateur world, because we don't actually study one another, we just, hey, we got a bout, we fighting so and so we get ready for the fight. Growing up as a kid, you figure you got all this energy, and we did have energy. We did things. We might went to work someplace and still went to the gym, got up in the morning, went to school, did all these things and made it happen. So, I mean, it was a great thing. It didn't really, like I said, affect my personal life. I got involved in the church. It kind of pulled me away because I started having that weakness of wanting to hurt someone. So that was one of the things that actually got me out of boxing, because I started looking at a different look at what I really wanted to do, because I said, well, I don't feel like hurting no one, but at the same token, it's a sport. So you had to understand the two and the difference of serving God and actually achieving an academic or a sport that you might like. So, like I said, that's pretty much what I dealt with in the boxing world.
Nat, same question. Training experiences affecting your personal life.
I would have to say it definitely affected me in a positive way. My attitude in life is live, love, and laugh. Not YOLO, 'cause I don't feel like you only live once. I feel like you live every day. So live every day. Love. You got to love God, love yourself, love others. Laugh. Laugh often. Laughter is healing to the soul. So trust God, trust the process, be the best that you can be in life, be obedient. Have fun. If you have fun when you're doing something, you have the desire to do it. And I want to be the best at everything I do. I have a strong desire to win. I'm very competitive. And that's just how I live life. Live, love, and laugh.
Okay. If you guys could give some advice to maybe children today in regards to your sports, what advice would you tell them? What encouragement would you kind of give them?
Well, first I'll let anyone know you honor your mother and father. First, that your days might be long, that you may be able to participate in what you want to really do. So those are some of the sentimental things you want to actually encourage them on, because young people today, they're being taught different things from which we came up under that era in the 70s. I always say anything after 1979, they made out of paper cup. That's what I always say. But when we came up in the 70s, we had parents that were tough, that didn't, whatever they said, that's what they meant. So those are things that actually you would have to teach your kids. Like my kids coming up, I teach them how to tip, because that's important. We go out to restaurants. You got people that don't even want some of us at the table because they know, man, I ain't gonna get nothing. But you got to teach them those things early. So when my kids go out, my grandboys, and I got 2 grandboys, I show them how to tip. They're young, but I just show them, hey, this money you give to that particular person for giving you service. So those are the type of things that you want to teach them going forward, because you don't know if you're gonna ever be in one of those positions.
Well, I would say, you got to teach them. It's going to become a time you're going to win and you're going to lose. But you'll never become a sore loser. You know what I'm saying? And always put God first and put yourself second, and everything else should be randomly in your favor.
Okay. How about you, Natalie?
I would tell the youth to make your own goals. They used to have a saying, be like Mike. But don't be like Mike. Be like you. Dream your own dreams. Use your God-given talents to shine your light on others. What we do as athletes, we bring joy to people's lives. People love watching sports, and so we want to go out there and shine our light on others, and remember to help people on and off the court or in and out of the ring. Help people. And we're getting away from that. We have to get back to helping one another. It's very important.
So, now that you guys are retired, what do you do? What are you guys involved with since you retired from your sport?
Basically, we still have the program that's still existing. And I'm going to have to share some bad news with you guys. The program has been around over 40 years or better. And the assistant trainer name is Darren Whitaker, which was Hollywood's right-hand man. Well, sometimes in life, your dream, somebody else's dream is not your dream, So the guy is fulfilling this part of being a trainer and a coach for these young guys. But it comes a time when you find love, it may lead you to go somewhere else. So I just got the word the other day that the gym may be closing down, because he's going to move away. So I'm still working. Adrian's still working. Some other guys who are fellowship with us, who was in the game from day one, they got lives too, and everybody's working. So if we don't find a solution to figure out how we can keep this gym up and running, it's going to dissolve. You know, and that's something sad, but you know, I know you didn't know nothing about that,
No, I
but you
didn't.
know, it's going to come to tuition, you know.
Adrian, how does that affect you finding out this information now?
Well, it's a sad information, but we can get together. I mean, you know, we sit here and be talking and we discussing our future and our past and things, but we have to be serious about what's being said, because this is like new information to me. Maybe we might have to get involved and get with Darren Whitaker, which we call him Broadway, and find out what the solution can come up with. Myself and Cobra, very, very experienced in the boxing world. We know how to handle things and we know how to make things better going forward for the program. So, I mean, like I say, he said a lot. That was new news to me, but I'll be looking into it actually as of Monday. I'll be getting in touch with Broadway to find out what we can do to make things better, because we have different shifts where we work. We both work on the same type of industry. So we might can make something happen. You know, I'm willing. I'm sure Tony Walker as well. He one of the guys that's supposed to be here today. He's probably willing, and we all can chime in some kind of way and make it work. But you know, we have to be real and serious about it.
Right.
Yeah.
How about you, Natalie?
Well, being that I recently just relocated to Georgia, I would love to get involved with a school as far as coaching. I've been told I need to coach. I've heard that for so many years. I have a lot to give back to the girls. So other than midnight basketball, I haven't done any coaching, but I feel like I need to. I've been in retail for decades. I managed Blue Steen's menswear for 20 some odd years. I had my own clothing store for a couple of years until COVID hit. And right now I'm driving a forklift. I drive several different forklifts and I train people to drive them. So that's what I'm doing now. But I really would like to get involved in coaching these girls, get them back to, you know, how we used to play back in the day.
Okay.
Charleston, you just heard Cobra say that the gym could be closed down. Help these guys out. Most of us know Angie and Cobra and Tony Walker. Whatever they need, we should be able to help them. This gym can be beneficial to all our young youth. Let's do something to help them. Fellas, Nat, are there any videos, since it's the world of social media, is there any videos that they can find you on, starting with Cobra?
Yes, you can put me up on YouTube, Darrell Singleton, boxer, and you'll pull up 2 fights, Madison Square Garden.
By the name of Fred Jones from the old Catholic Boys Club, Sam. It was a great place for young amateurs to train. Now let's see if he transferred any of the skill onto his prodigy. And here's a kid in his first pro fight. He's fighting a southpaw, but he turned southpaw.
He turned around and landing with both hands. Now he switches back right-handed. Hicks doesn't seem to know which way he wants to go. Now Hicks is southpaw. Singleton switches to southpaw. And back and forth he goes.
Hicks is a southpaw, and I just think that Singleton is trying to accommodate him by changing his style.
Singleton is.
How about you, Angie?
Well, no, we don't have any videos per se where you can just pull them up, but I'm sure we have records of things that we kept through the course of the years that can, you know, we can make available to people, you know.
Weighing 132.5 pounds. This is his second professional fight from Charleston, South Carolina. Adrian McNEIL. McNEIL, 4 rounds of boxing.
How about you, Nat? Any videos of you dunking on anybody at College of Charleston Gym?
Man, I wish there was. I couldn't come across any videos. There are photos and lots of newspaper articles, however. So you can look me up, Natalie Seal, and you should be able to find plenty articles from high school and the College of Charleston, including my Hall of Fame induction in 2011.
I want to let you guys know about Nat. I'm going to tell you something about Nat. We talking about her basketball, but we're forgetting to talk about how she's a great stylist. When I first moved back to South Carolina, I don't care what event it was. I don't care if I'm going to a party, my mother's funeral, anybody's funeral. Nat used to tell me two things. What color are you wearing? And pick it up on Friday. I never dress myself. Am I lying, Nat?
You telling the truth, man.
I never dressed myself since I moved back to South Carolina in 2000. Never once. So I want to thank all three of you for coming on JMO, sharing your experience. I want you guys to know, I want to give you your flowers while you're here. Anybody that really knows y'all know y'all been great people forever. So nobody needs to wait till they put you in the ground and say, Cobra was a great guy, AG was a great person, oh, Nat was so great, Nat did this, Nat did that. Y'all deserve that right now, right here.
We appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it.
I want to close this out with my last remarks. Look at these people. Listen to their story. You can be anything you want to be, realistically. Now, you ain't going to be a 5'2", 30-year-old center for the Lakers. That ain't going to happen. But you can be 5'2" and still be a coach and working for the Lakers. You still can be a trainer working for the Lakers. There's nothing you can't do if you really want to do it. If you need some advice, I can guarantee you, Nat, Cobra, Angie will give you advice. But I want you all to live. Live. Don't let nothing stop you. You want to go back to school? Go back to school. Let's stop talking about it. Let's be about it. You got to make things happen in life. And like I tell everybody, think big, love yourself. See you next episode.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Down for taking the journey somewhere far away from all the struggle and this poverty war, to a land of the innocent, money making and militant, down for what the cause is. Watch how these bars fizz. My whole life I dreamed of success. I want the best. God show me how the system work. I put in the rest. I'll never fail you again on this odyssey. My apology stands until the day I'm insane. I got a plan and you a part of me. Can I be righteous in my resume? Hustles, what's been ailing me? Society's killing me. My partners ain't no help, they shooting. In this world full of thugs, when we get shot over drugs, but no excuses. I want peace in my hood somehow. There's still G's in the hood who wild, like hyenas with Ninas. Why we letting petty shit come between us? Out here the cleanest, the meanest. They got their nose up, riding in Beamers. I am